drink in Christmas? A lot or not really?
Not that much. I just made a few gin tonics on Christmas Eve, and then on 26th, made some cocktails for some friends. That's it.
That's good. Yeah, do you know what? I think on Christmas Day I had about half a bottle of wine, so it wasn't that crazy. But to be honest, everyone in my family behaved quite well with the alcohol, so it's good to have
Okay,
a change. Because there's always
right.
that one drunk person, but then I thought it was me for a second, but everyone was just being a good person. Right. Anyway, Christian, it's time. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. I think you were one of the first people
Thanks
I
for
ever
having
talked
me.
to about starting this podcast. And if people don't know, you are now in Germany, but you have been sailing around the world for the last year. So you started as well, when we started to work together, you started as a bar support, worked your way through bartender, then to supervisor, and then you started to work in cruises. So how does it feel, I think, before even going to where you started from the bar, but working in cruises, how did you feel? How was the step that you had to take, the different approach?
Um, like what, work-wise, or like the
Yeah.
application process?
Well, if you, I'd say everything. 'Cause I think for someone who probably is interested in doing cruises, they'd probably be curious to know how it would work.
Yeah. Um, So vacation was easy and it was just online. The one that I work for, I just looked up the website. There was a link with careers. I clicked on the job and then was a link to upload the CV. And that's what I did. 2 days later, I got an invitation for like an online interview, but it wasn't a face-to-face one. It was just a link. You clicked on it, and then they asked you 4 questions in the video, and you had to hit the start button, record your answer, hit the stop button, and then upload it. And then, if you're lucky enough, they will contact you again for like a real interview, and that was it. I was just lucky. I applied December 2020. Yeah. So all the cruise ships were getting ready to reopen again. So they need to hire a lot of people. So I guess it was just the right timing. And then the only thing you have to do is lots of medical exams. We just have to go to different doctors where they check if you're fit to work at sea. And that's it.
Sorry, I was just checking if it was recording. Yeah, but when it came to the medical exams, was it like just like a checkup to see if you had any issues, or was it stuff that you kind of had to prepare yourself for?
Yeah, it's actually real easy. The first one was the busiest one, but the results are good for like 1 or 2 years. So you do it once and then just every few years. First one, they had to uh, do a, what was it? Swab your throat, yeah, and then they checked your poo as well, yeah, to see if something's in there, and X-ray of the lungs for checking on tuberculosis or something like that, and that was already it. That's like only 2 or 3 tests, and the biggest part for first timers is like a basic safety training where you learn everything about the ship, like all the terms, like what the front and the back and left and right is called on the ship, and where the lifeboats are, how to use them, your life vest, then what kind of tools and survival equipment is like in the lifeboats, and all that kind of stuff. And then you do some swim exercises in the like in the harbor as well or in the port, wherever you are. Yeah, some do it inside in a swimming pool, and it's fun. It was a full week of training, everything about ships and emergencies and rescue plan and everything, and what to expect. That was
That's cool.
interesting
A
itself. Yeah.
question: do they still do it like the Titanic? Like if the cruise is sinking, is it just the women and children, or because of times have changed now, everyone is first come first serve for survival?
Um, no, it's well, it's not really first come first serve. It's we have different muster stations, yeah, on each side of the ship. And when there's emergency, not even necessarily if the ship is sinking, yeah, something might be wrong, and just in case they ask you to all meet up at your station. It's like A to H on one side and then T to Z on the other one, something like that, yeah. And then you just go there as a guest, yeah, with your board card. They scan it, and then they see in the system how many people are supposed to be on the station, how many are there. And as soon as everyone is complete, they just lower the boats. You just go in there, and then they drop it into the ocean. That's it. Fast and easy.
It's not strong. Yeah. So when you started to work, because was it just one day off a week you had, or did you work every day? Because I know cruises you work really hard and you
It's
don't really have much time
I
off.
heard it's different for different ones, yeah, depending on what company you work for. Um,
Yeah.
the one I work for, so it's like one main company, but they have 8 different cruise lines, yeah, which are part of the whole. And for us, it's no days off. The
No
weird
days
thing
off.
is
All right.
also depends on where you come from. The length of the contract differs as well. If you're part of the European Union country, then you have work like, depending on how high your position is, 4 to 6 months straight, no days off. And for like the Asian people on board, it's most of the time 8 to 10 months straight, no days off. Uh,
Asians got it hard, man.
Yeah, true, true. I don't know how they do it. I enjoy it, but I'm done after 6 months. Seriously.
Yeah,
I
probably.
noticed 2 times the same thing. The first 2 months is all exciting. Yeah, it's a new ship, new team, new bar you work at, and new places you visit. Yeah, so the first 2 months is all exciting. Yeah, everything is new, get to see new places. Then after 2 months, it's just a day-to-day thing, yeah. You're used to it. You've seen all the places, you know the team and everything, yeah. And then the last 2 months is just I just want to get out on vacation.
Fair enough. But so when you start, because you, like you say, it's 6 months at a time. So how long? Maybe it's different for you, but for some people do get quite seasick, or people around you that were getting seasick. How long did they take to get used to it? Sometimes I take just like the ferry from France to England, and if it's a bit
Yeah,
bad and a bit wavy, I can puke. Like that could happen. So how often do you guys get seasick?
it always depends. Yeah, there's you can never get used to it. That's the
Oh,
problem.
you can never get used to it. Oh, okay.
No, I've met people that've been on the ship for 10 years, were never seasick, never had any issues, and then it's just a slight storm outside, and then they just get seasick out of nowhere. Yeah. Um, Funny thing is, it can happen the other way around. That your body is so used to the movement of the ship, that as soon as you go back on land, and it's not moving, then your body is still kind of moving, and then you start getting sick. Do you know what I mean? So the other way
Yeah, I
around
do.
can
Wow.
happen as well. But seriously, you
Oh,
can
that's
never get
awesome, man.
used to it. You feel it, then you go to the hospital, get some seasickness pills, and then you're good to go. But luckily for me so far, never had any issues.
You got a good stomach. That's good to see. So, how many people would be at one time in the cruises that you were working? Like, let's say with staff included.
It depends on the size of the ship. Like
So
I've
you
been
had,
only on a
so you went on
smaller ship
different
so far.
sizes. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
our fleet alone has like 11 ships at the moment, and we have a few that fit like 2,400 just guests. Yeah, and then the biggest one we have is like 5,500 guests.
Jesus Christ. Five
Yeah,
thousand.
that's just too much, honestly. Yeah, cruise ship is all nice, but there should be a limit. That's just
Yeah.
insane. If you visit like the Caribbean islands with like the big ships that can fit 10,000 people in there or 9,500, and then you go on a small island like Barbados, and then out of nowhere, there's like thousands of people coming out at the same time trying to see all the nice stuff there. It's just too much, in my opinion. Yeah. But I've been on the smaller ones. We fit like 2,400 guests at the most, if it's fully booked, and the crew is around 600 people. But that's everyone included. Yeah, it doesn't even take that many people for like driving the ship. And it's just 20 or 25 people in the engine room, and then I think 10 or 12 up on the bridge. That's it. That's all you need to
All right.
sail the ship. The rest is all other crew, like housekeeping has lots of people for cleaning the cabins. Bar and restaurant together is like 150 people. Then you got guys taking care of the garbage and recycling. Then you got some environmental officers on there. And I don't know who else. Kitchen staff as well. The guys who prepare the food for the crew and everything. That's also lots of people.
All right.
And then you
So
got
how
the
would it be
tour
like?
guide, scouts, and receptionists and everything.
Right. So how would it be like just a day as Christian, the bartender in the cruise? Like, what would be your average day looking like? Your routine?
The routine for me depends which apartment you're at and what kind of shifts you work, because most bars are open from like 8 in the morning until like 2 in the morning. So you need, different shifts, just like on land as well. For me, I
Yeah.
started at 7 in the morning, went on break, uh, 12, 12 or 12:30, depending if it was sea day or not, and then go 30 until 11:30 or midnight. So you do 11 to 12 hours a day. And that's my routine, just opening the bar, serving the guests, go on break, get some lunch, go outside most of the time. Sometimes just skip it and take a long nap.
I bet. I
And
bet.
then get some lunch, dinner, and then ready to work again.
That's good. I think my colleague Resval, he was, when some people complain that they have to do 50 hours in 1 week, he looks at it, he's like, I'm used to it now because like you say, he in his cruise, he was working every day. And he was also saying, like, I think I was telling you this as well, was just before we started recording, that it's very strict and understandable as well, but there's like a few strike policies that they have, and if you go over, like, let's say you got 3 strikes, let's not mention what you break, but you break those 3 strikes, you have to leave the cruise. And then not just that, it's with your own money of you leaving, the cost of the ticket and the cost of the ticket of the guy replacing you, that all comes out of your pocket. So I find that quite surprising. But then again, I like to see the profit margin of cruises. But yeah, I think it does make you a better person. It toughens you up and probably makes it a lot easier when you go into land and start to find a job as a bartender.
Take a toll on your body for sure. I feel it also. And I guess try to stay fit. Going to the gym every other day. Yeah, going for a run, doing all kinds of stuff. Um, but after a while, yeah, you get exhausted. Yeah. Um, Especially if you have morning duty. Because after like 2 long breaks, but they're
Right.
like 6 and 7 hours. So I will never get like a full 8 hours of sleep. Yeah. Um, how would I recommend it? Depends on what you want. If you're new to bartending, for sure, because it's just a nice idea. Yeah. Um, you get to travel while you work. Um, Depending who you work for, the payment is good too. For me, it's nice because I don't pay any rent or anything. Yeah, everything I earn goes straight into savings account there.
Yeah,
Because of the
exactly.
ship, everything is included. You don't pay for accommodation or food, only if you go outside to buy stuff on land, and that's it. Yeah, or stuff on the ship. Yeah, we have our own crew bar, so if you go for a drink, or you I don't know, get a haircut or whatever, it's discounted, but you pay for it. Yeah. But that's cheap because it's cheap anyway, and we got the crew discount on it. So yeah, it depends on what you want for your career. Um, yeah, I mean, if I go back on land, or if you go back on land as a bartender, it doesn't matter how many hours they put on your schedule. It's easy as it is. if you work that much without any day off, they can shock you if you go back on. I feel like it. Um, the thing for me is, to be honest, our drinks are a bit shit. Yeah, it's mostly just one or two types of spirits and then fill it up with juices and some syrups. Yeah, that there's nothing else in it.
That
Nobody
answers my
orders
next question,
like a
right?
proper margarita or old fashioned or rum old fashioned, whatever. Yeah, you name it. It's made mostly just some Mai Tais stretched to the top with pineapple juice, sex on the beach, and
Is it
pina
really just
colada.
drinks that they just
Yeah.
get to hold on to for a long time? Something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I mean it's cool we get to use free pouring. That's nice. You can work on the free pouring and some pouring techniques and stuff. But if you want to learn how to make proper drinks, then no, that's not a good choice to go on the ship. Yeah,
yeah, but would
that's
you
what
say
I feel
it's
like. Yeah,
more?
it's different for everyone. Yeah, um, but for me also, I still enjoy it. It's fun, but it's tough. And if I want to grow in making better drinks, then I would have to leave the ship, honestly, because I've reached the maximum that I can learn there. Yeah, now would be time to actually move on.
All right. So I got two questions then. So, well, with the drinks, was it more because they were more worried about the speed of service and just, they wanted to make sure they could maximize their profit margins? Is that why they were serving those kind of drinks? Or you're not really
Yeah,
sure?
fast
Yeah, it
and
was
easy,
because of that.
definitely. Especially sea days busy and at night. Like we have a theater in the middle of the ship, and three bars on like three different decks, and they're all packed. Well, if there's like a musical or something going on, all three decks are full. Everyone wants to see the show, and they're thirsty as well. They just came back from like an 8 hour trip on land. They just had some nice food in the restaurant, and now they just want to drink. Yeah, and then yeah, most people go for we have a variety of gin tonics, and then most people go for spritzers and cocktails, and then you just have to be fast. So that's good
Yeah.
thing too. You can work on your speed. Yeah, that's good because there's like one bar with four barkeepers, and you got 120 people waiting. So yeah, lots of orders coming in.
Probably 5,000
It
people
gets a
waiting
bit
as well.
messy. If it's busy, it gets messy, especially if you work the outside bar. If it's a sunny day somewhere, yeah, and people stay on the shipboard sea day, and now it's 25 or 30 degrees outside. After 10:30, everyone is outside on the deck trying to get sunbed, lay there, and then just keep coming, keep bringing the drinks, and then you have to be fast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so because the good thing is you got to visit a lot of countries around the world. So the question to you, which was your favorite country and the ones that you were actually able to go and explore for a couple of hours?
So far. Definitely Norway. I've been there before. I'm just a big fan. Yeah, people are great,
Nice.
and just by the landscape and the scenery, it's just beautiful. If you go with the ship inside the fjords and everything, that's just perfect. And so far, I did Norway, the Mediterranean, like everything between Rome and Lisbon. Yeah,
Yeah,
European side. I
no, it
didn't
is
stop
nice.
anywhere in Africa. Yeah, and the Canaries. That's the two or three tours I did so far, and I like Malta a lot. We
Really,
stopped in
Malta. That's a
Valletta,
nice surprise.
and it's a because it's like you sail into a different century because the whole city of Valletta, like the harbor, as that I don't know, like some sort of like sandstone, like everything is like yellow brownish, and it just looks
Right.
like everything was built in like the 1500s or so. So that's kind of
All
cool.
right.
You just
So
go in there and then boom, it's just a different kind of age, century or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that was cool to see.
right. Would you ever go back to cruises, or do you think your time is done?
Um, I do have my next slot already. Yeah.
I do. All
But I
right.
might send out some applications. Uh,
All right. Well, and I'm sure you'll come up with the right choice for you. But
Yeah,
one thing I'm starting to see is I was talking about the summer, which is how the future of bartending is panning out. And of course, after the pandemic, everything changed. But so I think freelance bartending could be quite popular now. I think not. It's fun. So the economy opened up. Everyone is still going out, but it looks like there's a lot more creativity and there's a lot more different things you could do. So no one wants to be that mainstream bar that opens. Everyone wants to do something different, and they all want to stand out in something. And it could be from the tiniest details. Like I saw on Facebook, there's this, and you know I'm a big fan of Formula One, where they have these simulators there. But then they've got this bar, a really nice looking bar with a quite interesting cocktail menu, which kind of shows that they hired a mixologist to kind of create an interesting menu to have. And it looks really, really good. And then you got these bars that you could just do some fun activities. So it's not just about the drinking, but even if it's not, they still want to make sure that they're putting a good quality or cocktails that you could enjoy. And hence that conversation we were having. People are no longer going for the same cocktails. They want to kind of mix it up a little bit, even with spirits. So a lot of people are drinking now Palomas, which hasn't really been heard of, and now it's been in quite a lot
true.
of bars. And this mezcal company, Ocho de Dios, they're very very popular. They're quite recent, but they've been doing really good with stuff. And I tried their coffee mezcal, which is really really good. But they have a hibiscus one, which I enjoyed the most. Um, so there's a lot more differences to it. A lot of people are starting to do their own brands as well. But
Yeah,
it's this whole big picture, which I do find quite interesting now for bartenders, because now it looks like bartenders could really choose like instead of 10 different things, now they could pick from 100. And a lot of them now are do freelancing, and a lot of them have these 45-hour contracts. So I think because there was such a lack of bartenders, it kind of made it good. So they were appreciated and valued a bit more because now they get to have their own terms, so they get to be a bit more picky. Like I've got a bartender that he's doing kind of what I'm doing, where he does 3 days and he does 12-hour shifts, maybe a bit more, and then he's got 4 days off. So the whole schedule is changing for bartenders, which I think is good. Do you think you're going
yeah.
to have a different schedule, or you're happy as it was before you went to sea?
Like if I would go back on land,
Yeah, like because I think before you used to do what, 50 hours a week? Would you go back to do
yeah.
your casual 50 hours a week, or would you like to spice it up a little bit?
Um, see, oh, that is a good question. Um, I, I guess I wouldn't care. Yeah, as long as I have like my 2 days off would be nice. Yeah, just to relax. And but what I would try to do definitely would be like a 4 day week. Yeah,
Yeah,
doing 4 days straight, no matter how many hours, and then just
yeah,
getting 3 days
exactly.
off in a row. I like the idea of that one. That what I'd try to do, which is possible because we're flexible anyway. And it doesn't matter which days you work. Of course, weekends are always busier, and you might have to work
Yeah,
there, which I don't mind. But if it's manageable, then yeah, doing some sort of 4 days in a row, no matter which ones, and then 3 days off straight.
yeah, I think it is a good thing, and more people are adopting to it. I think well, I do 3 days or 4 days, but it's always Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I want to make sure that I'm still working on the busy days. Um, but I think a lot of people don't want to do the 5 days or even 6 days. That even if they have to do 8 or 7 hours a day, I think people just rather go do at least 10 to 12 hours, because I think when you're used to doing 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day, you don't really want to go back to do 8 hours because you do have more time in your day, but you just rather dedicate that day entirely to work. So then in your other days, you can just really focus and do what you like. And since I've been doing it, I feel a lot more energized. I feel also a lot more focused at work. I feel like my work-life balance is as great as it's ever been since I left school.
Okay.
So I think a lot more people will be adopting to it. Now, it does kind of require you for a lot of employers to hire more staff. But the good thing now is in January, the Christmas period's over, so there's not that many people that, well, there will still be people looking for jobs, but a lot of establishments are not going to be looking for that many uh, bartenders or waiters, busboys, whatever. So I think it's now going to help a lot as well with their recovery to having a bit more of a stable team. The staff retention will stay. I know I do mention this a lot, but I still think a lot of people don't realize that it's still going on and people are still trying to recover. That's, it's kind of now your average staff retention looks like is 6 months, which is a big improvement, which I think if you'd asked me this a year ago or even 6 months ago, it would have been probably 3 months your average staff member would stay. Now it's going to 6 months.
Okay.
And I think before the pandemic, it was about a year. So that's what you kind of want to get to. Um, Now, the wages have gone up. I know there's a cost of living crisis as well, but I do think things are headed towards the right direction. And I hope people will carry on and will continue like that. There's not going to be any more
True.
lockdowns. And I do see a lot of stuff booming up. I think this Christmas was very successful here in London. I think everyone got out. There could have been a few places struggling with sicknesses as well. And that's what we were talking about. I think everyone was kind of sick as well this winter time, but we're all starting to recover. And oh, actually, I didn't tell you. So, and everyone's going to try and start doing their own things. I'm actually going to go to Germany. I don't know if I told you in October.
Wait, next year, like coming
Yeah,
October?
next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I wanted to go to my first ever Oktoberfest.
Well, let's do it. If I go
Yeah,
back on
well,
the
it's still a
ship,
long way
I
away.
might be done with my contract in September, so I can just meet you in Germany, no problem.
It'll be good as well.
Because I
It'll
would
be
be
a
on
bit difficult
vacation
to
again
keep up with
anyway.
you.
That would be funny. Let's go to the Oktoberfest again.
Well, I wouldn't be able to keep up with you though, because I remember one time it wasn't a birthday. We went to this restaurant. It was it called Wingstop or Wingman? That's it. Where they had
Wingmans.
like, yeah, where they
Yeah.
had like unlimited chicken wings and beers. He outdragged me, but I was still pretty proud. I think I only done 2 pints below you, so. But no, those were fun times. I think that was during COVID as well. But
Yeah.
but going forward, so you've been kind of all around the world. You grew up. You also were in Texas for a very long time. But where were you? Where you kind of started getting interest in bartending? Where were you kind of located at?
Um, I'm actually not exactly sure. Um, so I don't even know where to start with this one. Um, So, like you mentioned, my year in Texas, I did some volunteer work in bars, but for like music events. Yeah, I was helping bands, being a stagehand, setting up the gear, supporting during the show, and then break down the gear again, load it into the truck, and off they go. And then a few days later, next gig. Yeah. So I got to chat and see lots with the bartenders, see what they're about, the lifestyle and all kind of that kind of stuff. So which got me a little bit interested, but never had it in mind as a career path or something. And a few years later, still working in construction as an HVAC technician, like doing refrigeration systems for grocery stores and stuff like that. um, I didn't want to deal with it any longer. I was like, I've done it for over 10 years now. I'm tired of it. I also had no interest in improving, like going to seminars and get better and learn more about new technology stuff. And was like, I've just had zero interest for that kind of profession. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, what to do? And then, yeah, since I want to continue to travel, I was like, let's just try bartending. I just have to get the basic knowledge and skills done, and then you can use it all around the globe. Yeah, the recipes are more or less the same. The techniques also, we just get your basic stuff done. That's what I thought back then. And then you can use it wherever. No need to get extra certifications or qualifications or go to school again or something. You just get your basics done and then you're good to go wherever you want. And that's how I came to London. Also visited the bar
Yeah,
school, not the European one, different one, but that helped a lot, seriously, because I had zero experience about anything, and just getting the basic stuff done was good.
I
That
remember
helped a
you
lot.
showing
Made
up
me
to
feel
your
more comfortable behind the
interview.
bar as well.
I remember
Huh?
you in your cowboy hat and your cowboy shoes showing up to the interview for Dirty Martini.
True, the boots and the hat, yeah, and the belt.
That was a good mark. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't forget your belt buckles. But yeah, well, I think that's
Yeah,
it's one of the best cities you could go to really learn cocktails and bartending is London. You know, I think you could do it
seriously.
in other countries, but London it just gives
It's
you this
such a high
amazing
standard.
variety. Yeah,
Once you can do it and feel comfortable in London, then you're good to go to work wherever in the rest of the world. I feel like it. I don't have much to compare
yeah.
to, honestly. I started at the end of 2019, as you mentioned, bar back in your bar, then January bartender already, and then yeah, I did 3 months of straight bartending, and then pandemic hit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and that
was it.
was
Then you know
a
how it
fun
was,
time.
on off, on off. Yeah, reopening, closing again, reopening, closing again, and in the midst of it, I started applying for the cruise ship. So I've not much experience how nightlife looks these days. Yeah, I experienced only a little bit before COVID, during my like the first 5 months I stayed in London, and then break time, and then during a second reopening, pretty much left. We were open for 2 or 3 months again, and then I left to start with my basic training and all the medical stuff for the cruise ships. And since working on the ship, that, like I said, there's not much time for going out. Overnight, we're always at sea. We have a few overnight stays, like in Lisbon and Barcelona. Then you can go out sometimes, but also not allowed to drink much. So I have not much to compare to as of
Well,
what it looks now.
yeah, going back to the pandemic, because I mean, we stayed quite in touch when it was lockdown. We talked quite often, and we met up a few times when we were
Yeah,
allowed to, just so people are aware. But you did always kind of stay busy at home making a few drinks. I remember you talking about, but do you want to tell a few people what kind of drinks you were doing at home when you were bored? Because I know you've done a few infusions. So how was that?
that was good. I tried to stay busy and to improve while I have actually nothing to do. So did some online classes, listening to all kinds of bartending podcasts, signed up for the Diageo Bar Academy, where they have lots of online content about everything: bartending, spirits, recipes, management, bar life, how to stay healthy and everything. So that's nice to look stuff up there every now and then. And then just trying new recipes and infusion. Tried, what was it? The first one was bacon infused bourbon. That was fun to do. It was the first time I read the book about bartending and stuff. And they mentioned fat washing and infusions. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. I'm going to try that one. And those were just little things I tried to do just to improve.
That's good. I don't know how. I mean, I didn't even drink that much when it was lockdown, which I think was a good thing. But the I think when a lot of bartenders became bored at home, either they didn't ever touch their shakers or they started to be quite creative with it, infusions as well. And I think a lot of bartenders as well realized how quite simple it was just to do some little different techniques to infuse their drinks. And some people that I know, like they've got this complete bar set with all the spirits and all the liquors they have at home. They became more creative, but at the end of the day, all of us, when we came back to work, we still had to kind of recover. And I think what a lot of people now, probably since this summer of 2022, bartenders I think are now got that confidence back and talking to people, because when everything opened up and then we were finally able to talk to customers, you know, a lot of the bartenders are introverts, so them being as well a year or two a bit away from talking to people than having to do it. It took them a while, but at least since I've been going up for the last four or
That
five
was the
months, it's
weirdest moment. Yeah, you've done like almost a year on and off, just making the tickets, and all of a sudden people were allowed to order at the bar again, and I was like, "What the hell?" I lost all my social skills. I have no idea how to talk to
that's
the
true.
guests anymore.
No, but and I think now, I think, like I say, everything's recovering. It's good, um, but the knowledge has improved a lot, and I think as well the different bartenders you get, the different variety. Like now, when you're getting bartenders, they kind of know already what they kind of want to do. They're always starting as barbacks. So now you're getting a lot of barbacks who want to be bartenders, which is really good to see again. And they already kind of have their eyes of, okay, when I get to be a bartender, I want to learn how to do this, and then they kind of figure out the next step. So a colleague of mine, he was working in this bar, a very big one. Like the capacity was about 750, 800, and he was just washing glasses and he didn't really care about the job. It was just to pay the bills. But then one time I think he got in charge of just restocking, and he just kind of was enjoying seeing how the bartenders were talking to customers. And then he just kind of saw them dancing around, having a good time. And then he got more and more leaned onto it. And then he became a full-on bartender. And then he started to really enjoy making cocktails, but he didn't want to be in a place that was that big. And then he didn't know if he wanted to go to a nicer bar that would make more sophisticated cocktails, or would he just want to stay in a very social bar where you could, actually take a bit of time and have fun with a customer. So he decided to go through that way. And I forgot the name where of the bar where he works at, but now he's there. He's like Mr. Social, and it released this confidence out of him, which he probably wouldn't have gotten in his previous job because he was a massive introvert. He would just be working and then go home, just be on the computer. He wouldn't really socialize. He didn't really have any friends. He had one or two friends, and then now, the problem is when you're a bartender, you have to actually cut down how many friends you have because all your friends like to drink, which means they're all going to invite you out to drink. And if you say yes to every invitation you have going out, that's like 6 nights in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how it's going to be for I'm completely forgetting about the event that's coming up this time, Easter. What would be your perfect Easter cocktail, Christian? Because I know you like to mix it up a little.
Huh. I have no idea.
Not to put you on the spot, but
I don't know. I have honestly no idea.
I
I
was
have
surprised.
honestly, yeah. That's yeah. So right now, I have no idea from the top of my head what to
I
come
just
up
use
with.
my
If
cheat
somebody
codes.
wants a Eastern themed cocktail, I have no idea.
So I always go with my cheat codes.
Christmas
Okay,
is easy.
Easter.
You just take one, put a whole egg in there, some cinnamon spice and ginger, and you're good to go. But
Yeah, but it's same
Easter,
as the
I have
Easter
no idea.
cocktails. You just need like an orange liqueur, chocolate, cream, and that's it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there was actually the
Now
cocktail
I
I tried.
remember we had someone where we worked together before, and like half of them were not that good. And I remember the chocolate champagne one. That was no, no.
Chocolate and champagne don't mix. No. But
So
Christian, you would
yeah,
consider yourself to be also someone like because you like making cocktails, but you don't really drink cocktails, do you?
I do.
I usually see you with beer on your hand, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm saying like social, like if you're
to be
going
fair,
out, so we're
most of
meeting
the
up.
time when we went out together, it was a pub, but we they only had beers anyway.
Actually,
But
yeah, you're
when
right.
we went
Actually,
to be at one or whatever, always cocktails. Even now, when they got a good menu, I always try to go and try something new
yeah.
to see what's
I'm
out there.
I'm now curious to try Mr. Fogg's menu. I haven't tried their menu for a while. My favorite Mr. Fogg's is actually well, the botanist is nice, but they got the I think it's a puff carry, Mr. Fogg's, if I'm not mistaken. That's a really nice one. Um, Another cocktail bar that I haven't been to for a very long time, which a lot of EBS students know, is the Gibson, and the Gibson is an amazing
I've
bar.
been to that one.
Oh, you have? Oh, nice. It is
Yeah.
incredible. I think, yeah, Marion Becker is still the bartender there, I believe. Well, manager or probably own at this point. But yeah, I
Wait,
went there
say
with a
again?
colleague of mine. So Marion Becker, he's a bartender. I think he's the
Yeah.
general manager there. So I think he's been there for a very long time because I went there in 2018 with a friend of mine, and we were both just trying to see what different cocktails would taste like, more sophisticated than your average cocktail that just requires a spirit, a liqueur, a modifier, And we went there and we had about three, four cocktails each. They were all complete different cocktails. But I think as well the art that came to it, but just the tiny details as well. So I think what made it stand out was not just that a drink has lime juice and then he would just squeeze out the limes and keep it in a bottle. Like, no, he would only squeeze that lime juice when he really needed to. Um,
Yeah.
all these preparation ingredients, and then he was speaking with him and how all these bitters are homemade, and why he's explaining to me like just if you can make your own syrup, just make your own syrup, and explaining of he's making a when he wants to make a new cocktail and he's trying 10 different base spirits just to find the right one. And then if he finds the right one in one base spirit, he's probably then going to have to change one of the modifiers on it. And then does it have to have like a different twist to it? So there goes a lot to it, but I don't think we're ever going to run out of cocktails. But just to see how he worked as well, because he was so fast and efficient and no
Yeah,
spillage
true.
when he works. And I don't know if you remember, like sometimes when I work, I could be very fast, but I also could be quite
Yeah,
messy,
for real.
especially when you got like 20 cocktails to make at once. It's like a timeline. But no, it was it last week. They timed me to make an espresso martini, and I haven't bartended like every day for a long time, but I still done it in 36 seconds, so I'm still pretty proud of myself.
That's still fast. That's good. For
It
espresso in
is,
about 30 seconds, it's good.
yeah,
Espresso martini, yeah.
yeah. I know people that could do it in 30 seconds though, and it's like I'm because when I'm doing it, I'm like, you can't do it any faster, and then you see some people do it, and it's incredible. One thing that's I see these new bartenders in their early 20s, they kind of have the thing that we all hate, which is I don't know if you feel the same, but I was just watching these bartenders at work, and then this customer asked for like six mojitos, and then you just see the bartender's face. He's like, "All right, six mojitos, no problem."
Yeah. There's the rumor that every bartender hates to make caipirinhas and mojitos. Like
Yeah,
everything, every drink that has to do with muddling cocktails, they just hate doing it.
or even
I
like
don't mind, to be
blended
honest. For
cocktails.
me, it's fine. I don't mind. But
I
yeah,
don't
if it's
mind if
if
you
you
have to make one. I think if you have to make like if you have to make five mojitos, it's fine, but you have to make probably one mojito, Negroni, a Cosmopolitan, a like a few more others, then yeah, it gets annoying. But if it's just one to do, it's okay. I feel.
yeah, I can see why people think it's annoying. For me, it was never a problem. I was just excited making drinks, yeah. And the place we worked before, they always gave me like the orders or the tickets with the model drinks on. I was like, okay, I'll just do it.
But what's your favorite cocktail to make, actually?
To make, ooh, that's a good question. I probably would go for old fashioned, just a nice
Yeah,
laid back
absolutely.
stirred
Yeah,
drink. It's fun to make, yeah.
yeah. And it's also if I order an old fashioned, I have to see it being made as well. Um,
Yeah, that's part of the experience. Yeah, just us watch it, see how the guy's doing it. Because
yeah,
it takes some
I
time
made
too. That's why it's fun to
it
watch
does.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, they say it should take at least 5 minutes to make a proper old fashioned. But even like God, I made this cocktail, and I haven't made it probably since the EBS days, which was a Sazerac. And I think when I made it, I actually really enjoyed more because I felt like I had to be a lot more careful making the Sazerac. And
Yeah,
just I mean, because I remember I nearly forgot to rinse the absinthe from the glass,
that's the
and
point.
yeah, so
You
there
have to
was
be
like all
careful
these
with
little
that one as
tiny
well.
details. Yeah, you really do. Because even when I done a mistake. I did free pour it, and it's just 5 ml just around the glass. But I think I put about 15 ml. So even when I was rinsing it and I took out the excess, I should have just like really give it a good shake to really remove all the excess. I mean, there was no complaints with the drink, and I'm pretty confident with how I done the drink. But it's just those tiny details to it. But no, they're still fun to make. I still say my favorite cocktails are just cocktails you could shake, make them quite quick, quite easy to garnish. Because I think it's just when you're in that routine of just keep carrying on making cocktails, it's quite satisfying. But if there's a cocktail that's probably going to take you 2 or 3 minutes to make, it kind of ruins the momentum. I don't know if you agree with me or not with that.
The what?
When you kind of make cocktails and they only take about 2 minutes to make, but then you get a cocktail which is a bit more complicated to do. So then instead of taking just 2 minutes, that drink's going to take you 4 minutes. And it kind of ruins the momentum of how you're making the drinks because you're just going at such a consistent flow. But then all of a sudden, you got this complicated drink that catches you off guard. I don't know
Um,
if you feel like that.
Sometimes. Um, if it's been such a long time since I made it that I forgot like the measures of the ingredients, that's annoying because then you have to cheat and somehow hide when you look up the recipe again because you don't want to do it in front of the guest, right? And that
Mm.
what catches you off guard and takes a lot more time. But if it's one where I'm uh, um, comfortable with like the recipe, then it's no problem. I was okay, that's just a one drink that takes a lot longer. Um, yeah, what I noticed is if it's last order and somebody comes up with the freaking Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that one takes forever and you just want to close the bar, actually.
I don't know if I mentioned in this podcast. The greatest Bloody Mary I ever had was actually is where I work right now. And instead of vodka, they use gin. So I still remember
Okay.
the specs perfectly. So it was 60 ml of Tanqueray gin, 15 of lemon juice, and then you'd add celery salt, pepper. I think it was 2 dashes of Tabasco, and we'd have fresh tomato juice as well, which made a complete difference to it. And I don't know if there was a bitter inside. The only difference was it was actually in crushed ice. So we would roll the Bloody Mary, we'd pour it over crushed ice. Then the garnish was quite not complex, but it had a lot into it. So you'd have your typical stick of celery, you'd have a lemon wedge, you'd have 3 olives, and then you'd have this kind of little bottle of port wine. So that cocktail will take you at least 3 to 4 minutes to make it properly. But it was such a rewarding drink, and even to drink it, it was just so nice. I used to love having it, and even now, if I have a Bloody Mary, it will never be as good as the one I had to that one because that just stood out. And
Okay.
the gin was a very nice difference to it. It really was. I think that was such a good drink, and I feel like people only have Bloody Marys in the airport or if they're hungover and it's a Sunday, which I do that as well.
Well, you take it as a hangover cure.
Yeah, well, I don't usually drink when I'm hungover. So what I do a lot, what I used to do, I used to call it a hangover tea. So when I was working in the bar, I used to show up to work hungover from a good night out. We had a coffee machine there, so I used to get a teapot, fill up with hot water, and then look around the bar. Anything I considered to be healthy, I'd put inside of it. So I'd put like a tea bag, mint leaves, rosemary, Angostura bitter, orange bitter, lemon juice, honey, passion fruit seeds, like elderflower cordial, like you name it. So I put that all in the
Okay.
tea, and you know, it wasn't a bad tea to have, but it used to help me. So I used to always call it a hangover tea.
Okay.
But
That's probably
if
because
I
of
was
the
not
alcohol in it.
working,
Because the orange and
probably
Angostura bitters also have alcohol in it, so technically you drank.
fair enough. Yeah. God, do you know what? One time I got pranked. In this hotel I used to work in Portugal, so we used to make our own homemade bitters, and the bar manager, like I was 18 or 17 at the time, so anytime they had something to try, I was always very curious. So he always to go, okay, try this gin or try this vodka or try this cocktail. And then he just gives me this shot glass one time. He comes to me and he used to call me Abel. He's like, come here, Abel. And then he's like, all right, drink this, but have it as a shot. Don't taste it. And then I take it as a shot. And it's the most bitter thing in my life. And it was a leftover of a homemade orange bitter. And oh, Christian, it was
Okay,
disgusting. Like
I can
I was
imagine. Yeah.
sweating. Like now to this day, it was so bad. But
uh,
that
Good
place was
prank
very
though.
good to teach you. Yeah, it was. But I tell you what, if I was sick, I wasn't anymore. Because a lot of people don't know as well. Like Angostura bitter used to be used as a medicine as well. Um, right now, I do have a question for you because I'm really curious to see your opinion on this. These non-alcoholic spirits. What's your take of it, Christian? Are you happy with them? Do you like it?
I don't like him.
I knew you were going to
No,
say that.
I'm not a fan. Mm,
So when you see,
Probably
yeah, so
never
when you see
will.
like there's there's spirits like sea dip, which is a non-alcoholic spirit, but then you got like some gins and vodkas, which are excuse me, which are zero alcohol. So I think it's like if you're just not good, in my sense, because it doesn't taste as how you want it to taste. And if you just don't, if you're gonna have like a vodka Coke, but you don't want the vodka, I feel like you should just order a Coke. Um,
Yeah, seriously.
but even with mocktails, so I've had mocktails with non-alcoholic spirits and without it, and I generally think that it tastes better without the non-alcoholic spirits. Now,
Yeah, to be fair, the non-alcoholic spirit just tastes bad. Doesn't matter if it's seed
yeah,
lip or the zero point 0.0 whatever spirit you use, it's just bad.
yeah,
I can
and that's the thing.
understand that
I don't.
people want more for their money instead of just a few muddled fruits and some juices on top. But like I said, not a fan of the non-alcoholic spirits. They just don't taste good. Like you
Yeah, I
said,
think
just stick to sodas and juices. It's fine if you don't want to drink or can, if you're the driver or whatever or pregnant, then just stick to the basic stuff. Don't get the shit drink with some non-alcoholic wannabe spirit.
no, you're right. But I think they should continue making them, but just let's wait a bit until they actually start to be good. You know, this is like electric cars. You know, electric cars before were shit. Now electric cars are
Yeah.
pretty good. So you know, let's make a few more shitty non-alcoholic spirits, and then I think there will be a point that they can be good enough for
Yeah,
it.
okay, let them
Um,
improve on it and then try it again.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Why not?
let's put it like this: there hasn't been one that's caught my attention yet. I could say I could enjoy it because you know it's you can't. I don't want to make a thing of it, but it's like these um meat-free burgers. Like you can't say, oh, it tastes just like it when it really doesn't.
No,
Like
that's also complete
it's
bullshit.
yeah, exactly. And actually, thank God said something to this meat. So about bartender diets, I know we really need our calories and we also really need our protein. So I've noticed that since took a lot more heavier meat quantity into my diet, like chicken and red meat, I do feel a lot more energized and just a lot better to work. Do you think all bartenders should have a bit more of a stronger protein diet, or do you think like you could get away with it if you're vegan?
It's up to them, but it can never hurt to get your right amount of proteins, seriously, because that's what keeps you going. Yeah, not the carbs or anything. You need your proteins. Stay hydrated, lots of water, and get your proteins. Yeah.
Do you ever have meat cravings? Like, do you ever finish work and then you're craving meat? If you ever have that?
Um, Not really, because that's what I eat most of the time anyway.
So, but if you probably don't, let's say you have a day you didn't really eat much meat and then you finish your shift, do you have that craving that you want to have a bit more meat?
Um, no, I don't think so. After the shift, I'm just tired and go to sleep without getting any food.
No,
But
I
yeah,
tried.
most of the time I eat meat anyway, and sometimes I think about I could add some potatoes or rice to it, and most of the time I'm like, no, I just eat the meat. That's it. So
Yeah,
I get my fair share of it anyway. But like food or meat cravings after shift, not that I can remember.
no, I've tried to have a big meals before my shift, but I just didn't feel like it was
Yeah.
working, so I'd rather have it after my shift.
But sorry to
And I
interrupt. Do
used
you
to,
have it like
yeah,
after the shift? You just go and get like full size steak or like 600 grams of chicken and just do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
no,
Okay.
literally, yeah. So I used to like, especially chicken, but I do love my steaks, and I've been now having like steaks 3 times a week, which has helped me out a lot more. So, and usually it's just steak on its own or a few fried eggs, which is quite a very thing to do in Texas, isn't it?
Nice. That's a good combo too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. And even so, I do try to have like steaks 3 times a week. Like I love a good ribeye. And I'll usually just have that. It's rare having it with rice, but then other times, so on Sunday when I'm off on Sunday, and then I kind of have a tradition now. I always go for like a full English breakfast, but I put it like as my one meal a day. So I'll finish my shift on Saturday, and I'll if I go out or not, I'll stay in bed late the next day. So it'll probably be 16 hours of fasting, and then I'll have like a full English breakfast, and that will be like quite hardcore, like with 8 sausages, the whole packet of bacon, 4 fried
Okay.
eggs. Um, and I wouldn't put any mushroom in it, but probably like baked beans, but I'll really go into that one meal, and it would kind of give me that energy to go for another week. And then there'll be other times that, especially like if I'm off and I just want to like cook something to have a bit of a few good nutrients, I'll have some noodles with chicken, mushrooms, peas, and quite a lot of spices to it. Just I feel like every dish I have needs to have meat inside. I try not to have meat; it doesn't really work. My body really needs it, and I
Yeah.
don't think that people used to say having like a lot of eggs were bad for you. Now there's no limit to how many eggs you could have, even with bacon and all these meats. I think it's very important. And I'm not saying you can't do it if you're vegan. I think if you're vegan, I know a lot of people that are able to do it, but some bodies require you to have a bit more than usual. Like I know my body requires me to have meat, so I do need to eat meat,
Yeah.
and it tastes so good.
100%. Yeah. It's the best thing.
Yeah. Uh, do you have a lot of steaks, right? What's your favorite cut of steak?
Well, if I get the chance, I always go for beef brisket,
You go for a
which is
brisket, all
like
right.
barbecue style. And like in Texas, they do it a lot. And it's either part of the chest or the shoulder. Yeah, and they smoke it for several hours with like some nice dry rub, like peppery stuff around it. That's just really good. That's probably my favorite part.
Do you know what, there's
And
this
like
American
sirloin a lot.
barbecue place
Sirloin
that's
is a
good.
good too.
Sirloin? Oh, okay. Brisket, I don't have that much. There's this nice American barbecue takeout. That's the only time I eat brisket, but I usually go for my ribeye steaks. I do love it a lot. Try to
Good
get the thick
choice.
cuts. I do like the sirloin a lot. I've actually, what did I eat not long ago? It was really nice. Uh, I was lamb, so I was starting to eat a bit more lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Duck. I'm a big fan of duck. I love duck so much.
Same. Every time I go to the Asian restaurant, I always go for duck because I don't make it myself. So that's the only choice I have. For go to the Asian
Yeah.
restaurant, I always go for the duck.
Oh, so when you were in the cruises, what did you miss the most when you were working that you kind of like would make you miss being at home? Was it good internet? Was it just the food?
Well, the internet is shit, 100%. The
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
that's
is
what
so
everyone
bad.
tells me.
Most of the time, I just wait until we're in port, and if I'm in Europe, I can just use the data from my phone, without any extra fees. So I just do that. But it's okay. I'm not often online anyway, so I'm fine with bad internet. Once I have it, I just give my family a quick call, and that's it. What I miss the most, days off for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
going out, definitely. Just get a bunch of people together, go out at night for some after work drinks or something. We can do that. I miss that one sometimes. Food wise, nothing. Um, they do take good care of us. Like the crew canteen
Nice.
is massive. Yeah, we have like every day for lunch and dinner two different dishes to choose from, like European style food. And you got
Oh, nice.
your appetizer plate with like meat, cheeses, and fruits and everything on it. A daily soup. Then we got a station for Filipino food, Indian food, Indonesian food, and so yeah, those. And if you don't like anything of it at all, there's always a pasta station with like one type of noodles and then two different type of sauces for it. And then yeah, dessert area as well. So sometimes they have themed evenings, yeah, where they have like Italian night, American night, where they do like barbecue ribs and corn on the cob and coleslaw, that kind of stuff. So the food is actually great. Yeah. So that's okay. Then yeah, other than that, I got everything on the ship I need.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I've actually missed going to those all you can eat buffets, but I've been enjoying the Chinese buffets because when I go order Chinese food, I'm like I could eat so much more. So I think was it last week I went to Soho and I went to this Chinese buffet and and I was really hungry because like I think I smoked a joint before I even went in there. And when I went there, I couldn't believe how cheap it was. It was like £11.50, something like that. And Christian, I was all by myself. I guarantee you, I had like six plates, right to the top. I guarantee you, they made a loss with me. Like they had to make a loss.
Sounds like it,
Because,
yeah.
but also the variety they had. So they had like my favorite thing ever is salt and pepper squid, and they had
Okay.
all you can eat salt and pepper squid, and the noodles were great. Like the dumplings were nice, the duck as well. Then they had these pancakes, and I was just like, what I really like, and I don't get that often. I just filled it up on my plates. And I know,
Okay.
like when I left, I did eat for the rest of the day, but for £11.50 plus I got a drink, uh, it was well worth it. I probably might do it again this week.
Wow, that sounds good.
Yeah. Well, look, Christian. So when do you think you're going to go for your next cruise mission? If you're ever going to go back, do you want to have like a few months
Well,
for yourself, or do you want to just
yes, usually
go
when
straight
you do
back into it?
6 months, you go home with a 2 month paid vacation actually. And but I decided this time to do 3 month just to get some more time off. But next slot starts March 15th.
All right, doesn't give you that much time, but well, I hope you do take a good time to rest. And thank you so much for coming on because I think we've been talking about this since 2020, I think. Maybe a bit before. But yeah, well, it's good to have you on, man. Thank you so much, and hope to have you back here very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Fantastic. Well, guys, the life behind bars, and stay tuned for the next episode.